Miriam. Her name is related to the word for bitterness, mar. There's a big difference between bitterness and depression. Here's how bitterness is. Suppose you made yourself a cup of coffee and by accident you put in a spoon of salt instead of a spoon of sugar or sweetener. Your instinctive response would be, you'd spit it out. Okay, it's active. I don't want this. I want something else. Okay, depression is passive. I can't handle this. It's too big. It's too much. I think I'll go to bed. I think I'll eat chocolate. The voice of bitterness is activity. The voice of depression is passivity. Bitterness isn't always so bad. Bitterness could take you to the next state if it's coupled with faith, as it was in Miriam's case. What's the next thing we know about Miriam? The Jews have left Egypt. The sea split. There's singing. There's rejoicing. Miriam takes out her instruments and begins to play and gets the women to follow her. Where the instruments come from. So this will tell you who Miriam was. In spite of this, that she had never seen in her entire life a day in which there was no bloodshed, no horror in Egypt throughout her entire life until the year of the plagues. When she came out, she took instruments with her. She knew there'd be a reason to rejoice. She had no doubts. So faith could take bitterness and turn it into movement, turn it into nagina. Nagina means song. Nagina takes us to a place that's higher than the mind. The mind will tell you things will never change, things will never be better than they are today. Your soul could tell you things will change. It was from that point that Miriam was appointed to be the teacher of the women. The same way Moshe transmitted Torah to the men, through a specific process, Moshe teaching Aaron, the two of them teaching the leaders of the tribes, etc., until everyone was taught. Miriam did the same for the women. The women understand their own language, have their own insights, and Miriam was their messenger. There's more there. In addition to her being a person of faith that was so great that she could be a divine messenger of Torah, similar to Moshe. We don't have too many people up there with Moshe. We find a very interesting episode. She spoke critically of Moshe's wife Zipporah, just briefly and with good intentions, and she was stricken by God with leprosy. Now, you hear it say, give a break to a woman. She's done everything right. So she did one thing. What's so bad about this? The answer is that God has expectations from a person who's able to say, not this, but that. For God to strike her from leprosy, you know what inner movement that would take her towards? Looking inside herself and saying, okay, not this, that. Doing real tshuva. And Moshe, the brother who she saved, prayed for her, and she recovered. And we're told to remember this every day, not only so that we should become aware of how bad it is to be judgmental of others or to speak ill of them, but also because we should realize that we could look at ourselves in our moments of failure and say, okay, get out the instruments, I'm ready to change. The next step's going to be even better. Our capacity to do this is inherent. We're called maminim b'nei maminim. We're people of faith, we're the descendants of people of faith.